guys, so I have a makeup tutorial for you today. Shocking, I haven't done a makeup tutorial in like 3 months at least. So I finally am like, you need to do this now. I did a look that I have been doing for a really long time lately. It's been a go-to. It's a very neutral face, neutral eye, like really warm tone colors. I also just ripped this flannel off mid-filming because I'm like super hot. So I'm just in my tank top the whole time, but anyways, let's get into this tutorial. So starting with foundation, I'm going to be mixing the Lorac Perfection Foundation with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. You need the tiniest amount, a little bit goes a long way. And I just mix these together and then dot it onto my skin. And this gives such a natural, pretty finish to the face. And then to blend it out, I use a Kabuki foundation brush. This one's by Everyday Minerals. The one I had pictured before is by Sigma, but they both work. For concealer, I am going to use my Painterly Paint Pot and my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And like always, I put my paint pot on my lids, and this acts as an eyeshadow base and also just conceals that lid area. And then for my concealer, I'm going to put this underneath my eyes and then around any areas of redness. And then I'll blend this all out with my Real Techniques foundation brush. Now I'm going to use my Laura Mercier setting powder. This is the translucent powder. So I'm using that same brush and packing some of that powder on. And I put this right under my eyes to set that under eye concealer. This way, none of our makeup on our eyes will transfer down there, and it just keeps it in place all day long. And then I dust a little bit more all over my face to set the foundation. Moving on to eyebrows, finally I look like a crazy person without them. So I'm taking my hourglass arch and filling them in, giving them some shape, and then brushing them through with the brush on the other side. And then once my brows are generally filled in, what I've been doing is taking an eyeshadow. This one is by Inglot, and it's the perfect shade for me right now, and applying it with an angled brush from Sigma, which is super tiny and precise. And I've been applying this to my arches, and it just gives me so much more definition in my brows, and I've been loving it. Next, I'm taking my Cover FX bronzer. This is a matte bronzer, so I'm going to contour with it with my Real Techniques brush, and I put this in the hollows of my cheeks and then bring it up to the temples of my forehead and then also down to my neck so that my face and my neck match. And let me tell you, Seattle has made me super fair. All my foundations are like too dark for me now, it's crazy. For blush, I'm using NARS Madly, which is the prettiest shade. It's like a terracotta tannish, super neutral, so versatile. You can use this with so many different looks, and so many different skin tones can use this. Highly suggest. And also I'm taking my Olema Pure Highlighter. This is a really pretty natural looking highlighter. I'm going to put this on the tops of my cheekbones and then around to my forehead as well. Moving on to her eyes, I'm taking my Inglot palette and starting off with this beige color and applying this all over my eyes with a fluffy brush. And then I'm going in with a slightly darker shade and putting this in my crease, focusing it more on the outer part of my eye and also taking that down to the lid. I'm taking another brown shade in a slightly darker hue, and I'm putting this into the crease, focusing on the outer part of the crease and blending that inward. Also, I'm taking some down to the lower lash line And once you have that applied to your eye, you can rub off excess product and then you can just start blending out more. Now I'm taking my fluffy brush and rubbing off some of the excess product, and I'm going in with my blush that I used and starting on the outer corner of the crease and blending it inward, and just keep blending it back and forth and blend it up towards the eyebrow. And what this does is it gives a really pretty definition to the eye and it ties everything all together. And I go back in with a brush with no product and keep blending it so you have no harsh edges. When in doubt, blend. Okay, moving on to our eyeliner. So I'm taking my Kat Von D Tattoo Liquid Liner and I'm making a very thin line. I like to start very thin, and then if I happen to mess up, I have to make it thicker, then I'm okay. Like if you start out thick and you mess up, you're screwed. So start out thin, and then if you mess up, you can always go a little bit thicker. And then I go in with a black shadow and put it on top. This helps to just blur your lines so it doesn't have to be super perfect. Next, for our lashes, I'm going to be layering these two mascaras after I curl my lashes a little bit. I like to layer two mascaras. First, I put on a volumizing one, and then I go back in with one to add definition and length. And once my eyelashes dry, I usually curl them again at the end, just FYI. And then I'm putting a little bit of black eyeliner on the waterline to give my eyes a little bit more definition. And last for our lips, I'm going in with my Bite Lip Crayon in Glacé, which is a dusty mauve color. It's so perfect for fall. And I apply this in layers. So I'll apply a little bit and then blend it out with my fingertips, and then go back in to deepen the color up a little bit more and blend it out with my fingers again. And then another thing you can do if you're using a darker lip is take a concealer brush and run this around the outside of your lips to clean it up a bit. Here is the finished look. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.